All right. Welcome. Thanks everybody for being here today in our breakout session at the World Youth Conference on Kindness. My name is Johnny, and I'm the Director of Youth Programs for a charity in Canada called Live Different. Today, we will be walking you through our Live Different Circle session on values and priorities. So you'll want to grab a pen and paper or open a note on your phone, as this is a self-reflective journey to help you define where in your life you should invest your time, your energy, your kindness. So without further ado, let's dive right in.
Have you ever wondered, why are we the most stressed out and anxious generation? Maybe it's because our entire foundation is wrong. Like a rocket launching off a crooked launching pad, maybe we're launching ourselves into a life that's missing what's really important. Since you were a child, people have been asking you, what do you want to do when you grow up? But no one ever asks, who do you want to become? We are more concerned with the job we'll have and the money we'll make than the love that we'll share with the people around us. When you think about the word success, what does it mean? If you were to go online and look up synonyms for the word success, you'd find words like fame, profit, prosperity, wealth. We spend so much time trying to achieve these goals, being cool, being popular, having the right things, trying to prove our worth to the people around us. But research has shown that these things do not make us happy, and we are stressed out under the pressure of trying to achieve things that don't actually help us. $220 billion are spent on advertising in North America every year, trying to convince you that the good life can be found through the goods life, that in order to be, you must buy. The famous actor and comedian Jim Carrey once said, "I think everyone should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so that they can see it's not the answer." So is there a better way?
Welcome to Live Different Circles. My name's Johnny.
Hi, I'm Davina, and Circles is a place where we gather together to have meaningful conversations about things that matter. Today we're looking at the question, what are the things that really matter to us?
I think about words and their meanings a lot. It's just like one day someone decided to put together a bunch of sounds and they decided that those sounds are going to be the sounds that we use when we talk about that thing. Like one day someone saw two people that look similar and decided, yeah, we're going to call them doppelgangers.
Oh, I think about that with the word automatopoeia.
Right, or like kerfuffle, fartlick, bumfuzzled. Yeah.
Bumfuzzled?
Yeah.
What's more important?
Hootenanny is another one.
Hootenanny.
Hootenanny. Who came up with that?
What's more important than random words is the words we use to define who we are and what matters to us. So we're going to take a moment to think about the things that matter to us. I need you first to grab a piece of paper and a pen, or you can open up a note on your device. Pause the video now if you need a moment to get that sorted.
Do you think, if you paused it, you're sorted?
Just give it another second.
One more second, just in case you have.
All right, I'm going to pause it here just to make sure you have a note, something to write on, a pen, or open a note on your phone. Make sure you do that. You're going to want to participate in this activity.
Paused it. Now we're assuming you've paused it, okay? All right, so on your note, write 10 things that you value most. This can be values, people, experiences, material items, whatever's most important to you.
We're going to give you a 2-minute timer to write down your list, and we'll be right back with the next steps. 2 minutes starts now.
Time's up. At this point, you should have 10 things on your list that you value most. But we are going to cut this in half. You're going to have 1 minute and you can only keep 5 things. So you need to cross out or delete half the things you put on your list. Choose wisely. 1 minute starts now.
Okay, now you should have 5 things on your list. I'm giving you 30 seconds and you can only keep 2 things. So you need to cross out or delete 3 more things on your list. 30 seconds starts now.
All right, now you have 2 things on your list. I'm giving you 15 seconds to break down your list to 1 thing. 15 seconds starts now.
That might have been an intense process for you, but these are the kinds of things that we don't spend enough time thinking about. We need to acknowledge what matters most to us so we can invest our time and energy accordingly.
Now we're going to go to our first question. Go around the circle and share, what one thing did you keep and why?
I think the value I stuck with and that survived every round of cuts was empathy. You cannot have empathy and not have kindness. You cannot have empathy and not have compassion. You can't have empathy and struggle with making relationships.
So the number 1 thing on my list I put is my faith.
It's my alone time. I'm not a very social person, so my alone time is kind of how I recharge.
I got my friends.
I would have to pick my phone. We're very dependent on technology. We can use our phone for everything.
My truth.
It's my family.
My family. I kept family.
That was kind of hard to do because like my friends are my family.
All right, if you haven't already, take a minute to just write some notes on why you chose that to keep that one thing on your list as we continue together today.
I want you to take a second and guess which one of the squares in the circle is blue. It's pretty obvious, right? Now I want you to take a second and tell me which square in the circle is a different shade of green. Not as easy. The correct answer is this one, if you're wondering.
You watching this all probably had a similar experience identifying the colors. But the indigenous Himba tribe in Namibia had the opposite. You see, Himbas don't have a word for blue, so they couldn't see the blue square, but had no problem seeing the different shade of green because they have multiple words for green.
Our language, our upbringing, and our society literally influence how we see the world. This is not only true for something like color, but even more true for our value systems, beliefs, and priorities. When you grow up surrounded by certain ideas about what beauty is or what makes you happy in life, what success looks like, it's easy to assume these values without really thinking about them.
Now, this doesn't mean that we reject everything that people around us believe, but it's important to be aware and mindful of the values we have because they end up determining who we become and how we choose to spend our lives.
It's important to decide these things for ourselves because we don't want to end up living our entire life for things that don't really matter.
Yeah. Because we wouldn't want to end up like your cousin Greg, right, Johnny?
I mean, he's not a bad guy.
Yo, my name's Greg, and I am stupid rich. Yeah, I guess when I was born, I was a baby, and my parents were rich. Yo, doubling up with the 2 microwaves. Preheat up here, cook it down here. You know, the world's not meant to be equal. Some people are lions, like moi, rah, right? And some people are just toads, sitting in the swamp. The lion's gonna eat that toad. I bought little Pooks off an emperor. Hey Pooks, you wanna do a Dukes in your litter box? When you can literally make everyone feel awful because they don't have what you have, that's when you know you've arrived. Yo, so when I Duke a Deuce, I do it on sparkling water, because that way it's super fresh. Yo, check out the fizz. So this is my boy Randall. He does whatever I tell him to do, because he's my bro. Pay him big bucks. He's also my only friend. So. You can never have too much of what you want, because what you want is what you need. Yo, 5 G's for this face lotion, bruh. It's made from the tears of baby bald eagles. It's kind of stinging my eyes a bit. At the end of your life, you're gonna lay in the hospital bed, you're thinking, how much dope stuff did I collect, right? That's what's gonna matter.
Johnny, please don't tell me the 2 top priorities you kept on your list were microwaves.
Wait a minute. What if you need to heat up your cheese nachos and your nacho cheese at the same time? Then it makes sense to them.
This brings us to our second question. What is a common priority or value in culture that you question or disagree with?
Being thin is better, and the whole diet industry in general.
The American dream, that's what I disagree with. Working at one job for the rest of your life, makes me so unhappy.
Nobody should be torn down by the media. No one should be torn down by beauty standards that are unrealistic when you think about it. You know,
a standard that all men should be ripped.
I think one thing that society needs to stop doing is rushing people to go to university or college or post-secondary training.
I honestly don't think anyone should ever be homeless or have to go without food or water.
That priority of money and how money can equal happiness
is that money is everything, because it's really not.
All right, you get a chance to make some notes, reflect on this question. What's a common priority or value in culture that you question or disagree with? Write your reflections as we continue today.
Our worldview needs to evolve. We have all these competing forces trying to define us, who we should be and what we should value, but it's important for us to define those things for ourselves.
It's important and powerful when we can clearly define the things that matter to us. We can become intentional and committed to living out the things that we think matter.
I had a friend who was a perfect example of how choosing what you value matters. After being a part of a humanitarian aid trip to Haiti in 2010, Cole realized the thing that he valued most was making the world a better place for those in greatest need. He gave up his job in real estate and spent the next 6 years doing humanitarian work full-time in the Dominican Republic and Haiti. On October 16, 2016, Cole, along with 2 other humanitarians, died in a plane crash off the coast of the Dominican after delivering aid to hurricane victims. That day was a tragic day for myself and all of us who knew him. But he left us one final post on social media. It was a photo he took with a simple caption, #love. Cole's life not only impacted hundreds of families who now have clean, safe, dry homes and access to education, but also the people around the world who were impacted by his story. He's an example of the power of living your life while knowing what really matters.
So here's our final question. At the end of your life, what 3 words do you want people to use to describe you?
Adventurous, brave, creative.
Empathetic, determined, and successful.
Happy, loved, and kind.
determined, that I was receptive, and most of all, that I was passionate.
First one would be like nurturing, hanging out with friends, paying attention to them. Second one would be assertive, very motivated. And the third one is determined.
Loud, loving, and lewd.
I have this theory about people. I call it sunshine people. I would love to be known as a sunshine person. One of those people that they walk into a room and they just light it up.
Fun, caring, and inspiring.
What are your 3 words? Take a deep breath, reflect, and write them down in your journal or wherever you're taking your notes. As we continue today.
If your purpose in life was a GPS, which way would you be heading? What is the truth that drives you forward? This is a moment to define your direction. Right now, each and every one of us has an incredible opportunity to realize that our value is not determined by money, popularity, or achievements, but instead we can understand that simply by existing, we are valuable. When you do this, when you let go of the anxious pressure to define your worth with superficial stuff, then, and only then, can we be free to live our lives chasing after the things that are more meaningful, to give our lives over to things that bolster the soul rather than build the ego. When compassion becomes your compass, you can start to live a life of depth and beauty, leaving behind a legacy of love wherever life takes you. A legacy that tells yourself and the world that failure can be beautiful, that forgiveness is greater than hate, and that a life lived for others is a life well spent. Because if we adopted this one idea, that compassion is the new success, and we let that steer our lives, amazing things would start to happen. You would begin to see that no one sits alone at lunchtime, and everyone gets a chance to be heard. You see, compassion is simply love with shoes on, able to run around the world changing the lives of the hurting and the oppressed, able to see the injustice and suffering of others as opportunities for healing, to believe that equality is not something that is out of reach. We all have the potential to live a life with this kind of purpose, to see the virtue in committing our lives to creating a positive impact. But first, we need to let go of the ideas that have been holding us back and take a moment to reimagine greatness.
Annie Dillard, a writer and author, once said, "How you spend your days is of course how you spend your life." Our challenge for you today is to revisit your list of priorities and do one thing this week to invest in what matters to you most.
If you've been following along with us as a part of Circles, we've been exploring conversations around things that matter: authenticity, empathy, growth, resilience, and altruism.
Although our time together is ending, our desire for you is to continue to live different, to live out a lifestyle of compassion and service, to be committed to kindness, to desire to develop, and to be connected with others in cause.
And as you strive to live a life of impact, we hope you begin to discover that the world is a better place because you're in it. On behalf of everyone at Live Different, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for taking time to go on this reflective journey with us today. I hope that your journaling helped you clarify where you should spend your time and your energy as we all strive together to bring more kindness and compassion into a world that desperately needs it. So thank you for participating. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.